crimes mark epochs. So we are in a new era, and I have resumed my work. As all well know, I work intellectually and creatively. I will repeat a few things for the sake of clarity in this recording. I have resumed my study of philosophy. It was my intention to study at the Pontifical University of John Paul II to study philosophy. And then I discovered that there was a specialization which attracted my attention. That was philosophy and Christianity in the contemporary world, a real promise. And in Russian, and with the people from the former Soviet republics. So I thought it a great chance for trying to establish peace with the parties I have been at war at, due to their decision to wage wars against me. So, first and foremost, the local, domestic, the Roman Catholic Church. Then, obviously, Poland. And looking further, the European Union. Last but not least, Russia. Sadly, all chances of working on this peace through studying together were devastated. We had 2 years that could bring real friendships. Oh, I forgot to mention Ukraine. Obviously Ukraine. My dad was born in Maya Rostowska. I view my position in the world today from that family perspective. The 3 daughters of Poland, my grandma Jadwiga, my mother Barbara, and me Agnieszka. But also the history of my dad, which I do not know. But I'll be learning the historical situation that was accompanying his growing from the very childhood. He was born around 1914 in Maya Rostowska. In that rich family context, my perception and my personal development acquires dimensions that are not that common among people. Criminality has a different value. I have decided to resume my study of philosophy in Russian. So I have the prospect of studying to pass my exams in the history of philosophy, the history of Christianity, and the knowledge of the Bible, of the Holy Bible. The exams that I will organize myself, for myself, as the Agnipolitanian Academy. And then I'm going to write my MA thesis as the Agnipolitanian Academy. My MA thesis in Russian. Originally, I think of it as the relation of religions to the contemporary world. So it takes the real understanding of the religious and sacred, and confronting it with the fall of man we witness today. It probably takes the study of the history. So I'm not sure if I want repeat the year, not being able to finish by the end of September this year. But it doesn't matter really. As I said some time ago, these days, philosophy, or the profession of the philosopher, is probably one of the most dangerous ones. And we do have a choice to be uncompromising and truthful, or to be like the rest. Of course, I cannot do much without knowing Russian. So I have resumed learning Russian. I have gathered all my books around me, including my secondary school books. I must say they are very good as far as teaching the language goes, but reading the text makes me laugh. There's a text in I don't have the one from the first class, the first grade, but the second grade one has a text at the beginning, one of the first texts about Lenin. It's so funny to read this text. And the new awareness has risen really, which tells me that this book can be really the book to learn Russian again. Perhaps within the next 5 years, perhaps within a decade. So I'm empowering myself for the possible re-advance of the Soviet Union. Of course, no matter my problems with the religious orders, churches, and other representations of God that have proved quite unfaithful, I do need to continue learning about them if I study philosophy and I take as my starting point Christianity, which is the choice I made in 2019. I listen to the Holy Mass in French from time to time. Oh, is it coming by any chance? No, that is Fatima. Perhaps it's a message. So, things will be happening. And my French must get alive too. A lot of philosophical thought has been conveyed in German, which means my German needs to wake up again too. That also concerns critical works in the other area that will follow my study of philosophy, that is literature. overall, there's a reorientation. The broken faith through the broken hope and trust is not the faith broken as far as the faith in God is concerned. So I need to find God. And this is my deep-seated belief, which has always been a possible discord between me and the Roman Catholic Church or other religious traditions. My belief that the humankind, all humankind, has the beginning in God. And so do the ancient religions. And this is the new perspective, a review of the history of humankind, the spiritual history of humankind. At the point of criminality we face nowadays, the crime against humanity, going back to the first civilizations, Mesopotamia, Egypt, India, with possible visits to the times preceding even these civilizations. That perception of humanity is at the core of my new romanticism, the spiritual, of course, but going beyond what we normally take as the focus and as the reality. There's a new perception of theater. So devoted to Shakespeare, I must have been blind to the fact that the theater does not start with Shakespeare, actually. Quite an obvious statement, isn't it? So, I have equipped myself and my library. Now I have my own anthology of the Greek tragedy. And this is certainly the point where I should start, where we should start. And paradoxically enough, even my Shakespeare grew out of the Rome, the Julius Caesar. So I have quite a journey to make. A completely new journey, opening into Scandinavia. Probably not that foreign, considering my attachment to the English literature, to the early English literature. And especially when we think of Tudors. Well, the power and the right was probably in the ancient the English ancient. So generally the ancient, whether it's Greece, Rome, Mesopotamia, Egypt, India, Scandinavia, or Poland, is truly a part of our spiritual tradition and growth. And that can be easily juxtaposed with the threat we are facing nowadays, which is exactly the threat to spirituality, to all spirituality, coming from the technocracy. When I think of literature, I think of the thesis I was to write. Perhaps if I had written it and it had gained some popularity, my program for emotional intelligence could have saved us from much of the tragedy we have been going through. But other choices were made, and the consequence remains. At the time, I looked at Gorman and Salovey. I'm not sure what I would look now, but perhaps it is important to rethink emotional intelligence. Overall, the new era has started. And I'm going to continue to work. Agnieszka Bata, Magdalena Roy, the 12th of March 2021, 8 past 4 p.m.